Hey, turbers and toy train lovers. Make a short film here about the apparent demise of Mike's Train House trains. We don't know for sure what's going to happen. Um, Mike Wolf has said if he doesn't sell the company, he'll simply close it by 2021, and he's been in the business for 40 years, and the economy's down. Lionel hasn't renewed his contract for building uh, standard models of old Lionel, standard gauge models of old Lionel trains from pre-war, which he's been doing prolifically, and but they're making them in China, of course, and I don't really care. I don't have a big collection. My friend who's passed away had several Mike's Train House trains, and not one of them didn't have a problem. And it was usually electronics, bad batteries, even supposedly new ones received from the factory. And I see no excuse why you should have to buy a Mike's Train House battery for a memory backup, and be able to go down to the grocery store and buy a rechargeable battery, 9 volt. But of course, maybe they were more concerned in being in the business of selling batteries than they were trains. But also board problems. He had board problems. They did a recall once, I know, and they asked people if they were able to actually replace their chips, which I've worked on electronic boards and with video games and jukeboxes and pinballs and even centrifuges. So I had no trouble doing that for him. But then we found out that his train died like 2 weeks later, and he said, "Now what's wrong?" I said, "Well, let's just figure out the last thing we did. We replaced the chip. Let's put the old chip back in. Train ran fine. They sent us a bad chip." So apparently they had a recall on the recall of the bad chips. So I think Mike Wolf and his people came out with some really good ideas, and they were far ahead of their time, but maybe they released the trains a little too early before they were tested, and the problems were corrected. These DC can motors are magnificent. They'll, for their time, I don't know about now, they'll outpull anything. They really, and they're quiet, and they seem to hold the track pretty good for not having magnet traction. I've never derailed this. Not sure I mentioned this was a gift. My friend passed away, and I sold all the rest of his trains for him. And every time one went off in the mail, I would to the customer on eBay, and they were all running. I thought of all the problems we'd had with the trains over the years. I was glad to get rid of it. So I'm sorry if anybody's upset about and has a large collection of Mike's Train House trains. I'm sure somebody will come along. If they don't sell the company, somebody's going to come along who's worked and work for Mike and have the ability to repair these boards and these trains. I just, you know, I keep this because it was a gift. It's a beautiful train, and I enjoy running it. And but I would not have gone out and bought this new. And the only Mike Trainhouse train that I've ever bought is this little guy, because I wanted a reversing hand car, and I wanted it to look more scale than the huge, oversized Mickey and Minnie hand cars that Lionel puts out. These came off a little Christmas ornament hand car. This is Minnie. I've got my finger on. There's Mickey right there, and they've got their legs you can hardly tell, but they're springs. And this is one of the best reversing hand cars I've ever seen. I don't know if anybody else makes a reversing hand car. This is not the natural color, and I really haven't finished painting this. It's sort of a when I find time to do it. I want it to look more like Disneyland, but I think I paid all of probably between the hand car and the Christmas ornament, it probably came to around $40, and it's given me years and years of fun. So there's one they did right. But of course, I'm sure there's no board in there. There's probably either a couple of diodes or a rectifier to convert the DC over to AC, and that's it. So anyway, as far as Mike's going out of business, I don't really care. And I think of Gone with the Wind. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I like my old trains. There's my post-war tin plate set going over the bridge. And there's part of my huge collection of Mark's tin plate. Most of it's in boxes and drawers. But there's nothing gets me more satisfaction than to find an old train that doesn't work and bring it back to life. And new trains don't give me that kind of satisfaction. They did as a child, but I'm not a child anymore. So, at any rate, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.